Hey, I'm Lindsay Ell, and this is my life in 5 riffs. Actually, when I tried to pick 5, it was really hard because it's like, what are the 5 riffs that have formed you as a player? And that's kind of a difficult thing to do. I started playing guitar when I was 8 years old. I started on piano when I was 6, and then I picked up a guitar when I was 8, and I just sort of never wanted to put it down. There was like a curiosity about this thing that I still haven't lost. I hope I never lose, really. I started playing guitar because of my dad. He put my first guitar in my hands, and I used to go to bluegrass camps with him when I was like this tiny little blonde girl, following my dad and all of his friends around and playing fiddle tunes like Blackberry Blossom and Red Haired Boy, and I just got so into bluegrass and fingerstyle guitar. They were just my jams, and everything like Blackbird and Here Comes the Sun, and I fell in love with it. And there was this guitar player from Australia. His name's Tommy Emmanuel. And the first time I saw a video of him playing, I was just entranced. Like the way he moved with his guitar, and he was just so flawless. So I couldn't get enough of it. And this is the first riff that really formed me as a player. This is called Mombasa. The thing I loved about fingerstyle guitar, and especially Tommy Emmanuel was so good at it, as the bass line and the melody happened at the same time. And learning to do that as a player, it's like what a piano player does with 2 hands, but you're learning to do it with 1 hand. So you play the bass line with your thumb, and then you play the melody with your fingers. And it was such a great way for me to start when I was younger, because I play a lot with a pick, and then I play the melody with my fingers. And I think fingerstyle guitar really helped me with that, so that I could learn how to play 2 things at the same time. All right, so the second riff that really formed me as a player, my dad was super into classic rock. The first riff he taught me ever was Stairway to Heaven on the guitar. It was like I slowly learned like that. And when you're 8 years old, it's really cool to be able to play Stairway to Heaven on guitar. And so it kind of got me down this classic rock path. I started working with a guy by the name of Randy Bachman when I was 13. And Randy became such a huge influence to me and my playing, of which we'll get into a little bit even more later. But just really learning those classic riffs for sure was like a huge foundation to a lot of my playing. I loved the Eagles. I mean, everything. They were all such great players. Obviously, Joe Walsh, like even the James Gang, like I was just so obsessed with everything to do with the Eagles. And some riffs are really difficult to play and sing at the same time. Like it's hard to front a band and be a lead guitar player with certain songs. And so I'll probably even mess this up because of that. But Life in the Fast Lane was, the minute I heard that song, I was like, I need to learn how to play that. That is so cool. And it's kind of a weird one to play and sing at the same time. But it goes a little like this. She held him up and he held her for ransom in the height of a cold, cold city. He had a nasty reputation as a cruel dude. He said he was ruthless, they said he was cruel. He had one thing in common, they were good and bad. She said, faster, faster, the lights are turning red. Life in the fast lane, surely you can lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. It's actually not that hard of a riff to learn, but learning to sing and play this at the same time, because it starts at different places. Like the first time it's... and then the second half is... so the second half of it kind of starts earlier, and it plays tricks on your mind. It's like the first time I learned how to play Superstition. It's a pretty easy riff, but when you need to play and sing that at the same time, very superstitious. Writings on the wall. You need to like focus on two separate things at the same time, while still like knowing the lyrics to your song and tonally making sure you're singing in the right key. And so it's like, it was a really good song for me to practice that, you know, that like two separate things going on at the same time, and fronting a band and playing lead guitar. I got super obsessed about the blues, and you know, I went on tour with Buddy Guy when I was 18. And pretty much all through my teens, I just couldn't get enough of the blues. I mean, I still can't, but I feel like blues is the foundation to rock and roll. It's the foundation to country. It's the foundation to so many genres that we listen to today. When you listen to the Stones, you hear blues. The first time I really got into Buddy and B.B. King and Clapton and everything rooted from Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I, Pride and Joy and Texas Flood, and there never really was a stopping point. Like Stevie's tone and the way he would approach notes, and everything was just so perfectly clean, and it's really what made me fall in love with Strats. My first guitar ever was a Strat that I really played out live, started playing out live a lot. And then I played Les Pauls for years. And Stevie just, I don't know, made me fall back to my first love as Strats and single coils. And I remember the first time I heard Riviera Paradise, I was like, okay, well, that sounds like Stevie, but it's kind of different than like a lot of his other songs. And so I learned Riviera Paradise, and I covered Riviera Paradise in my show every single night, of which I'm really happy that people were probably excited to hear 7 minutes of like jazz guitar chords through my shows, but I didn't care. I just loved it. And it showed a different side of me. And when I was playing, I started playing bars for 3-4 hours a night, every single night, driving 8 hours across Canada in a 15-passenger band van, learning how to play. So I filled up my set with a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan songs. And Riviera Paradise was one of those. could go on for 7 minutes, but I just loved the juxtaposition of like all of those jazz chords and then being able to like really kick a band to the next level and like dig into a solo. I guess it taught me the magic of like dynamics in guitar playing and how you can live in two different spaces and create different dynamics in a live show with a band and like ultimately have that like part of a set. Well, these 5 riffs would be completely amiss if I didn't talk about Clapton. I feel like the way Clapton plays, my love of the blues, they all sort of hit at the same time. I mean, I love the Allman Brothers so much. I mean, Dwayne Allman listened to him play slide. Derek Trucks is my favorite guitar player on the planet. Currently, right now, I'm a terrible slide player. I love it so much, and I play it live a lot. But I guess that all rooted back to my love of Clapton still. And people sometimes say my vibrato reminds them of Clapton's. Because I never do this thing. I don't know how people do that. Like, I like lift my whole hand off the neck. And it like floats. And I guess I picked that up from watching Clapton play Hours and Hours. Because his vibrato is just so fluid. And he like, his hand falls off the guitar. And it's like not touching anything except that note. And that's how I play. And so sometimes I'll be playing at NAMM or something where you're like playing in front of the best shredders in front of the world, and they'll come up to me and they'll be like, your vibrato is really cool. And I'm like, well, at least I'm doing something right. But I think I got that from Clapton for sure. So, I mean, there's so many songs I could play, but I'm going to play Sunshine of Your Love because it was a song I used to cover all the time. It's getting near dawn when lights close their tired eyes. I'll soon be with you, my love. I'll give you my dawn surprise. I'll be with you, darling, now. I'll be with you when the stars are falling. I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going in the sunshine of your love. I love in the middle of a show or in the middle of a solo being able to throw in a little bit of Sunshine of Your Love or a little bit of Layla, like in the middle of a song, being able to like pay homage to those licks or having like a familiar thing that not everybody in the audience is going to catch, but a few of the people who do will think it's really cool. And those are the solos that give me life, that I can throw in Sunshine of Your Love or Cocaine or whatever. And yeah, I mean, they can be a minute if the audience is a certain way, or they can go on for 8 minutes depending on how the crowd is. So those parts of my set give me life, and I love being able to, throw in different flavors here and there. Jimi Hendrix is one guitar player that I always say, if I could go back and meet somebody, it would be him. If I had to choose one player who's really influenced my playing, as hard as that is, it would be Hendrix. So many of his songs became like staples of my set. I would, as a country singer-songwriter, I would like play my own songs and then I'd play Hendrix covers. And that was like my show for many years on end. And anything from like Crosstown Traffic to Hey Joe to All Along the Watchtower to Fire to Purple Haze. I mean, I just loved it. And there was an expression in the way Hendrix played that I felt like nobody fully touched. He was just so inventive. And so many guitar players after him modulated their own styles off of Hendrix. But I felt like Hendrix was like that starting point for so many different players. And so anytime I'm going into the studio, I always kind of go back to him. And yeah, Voodoo Child was one of those songs for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Lindsay Ell, and this is my life in 5 riffs. Make sure to check out my YouTube page as well as me on Instagram. You may find my guitar pages on Instagram. Who knows? But come check it out.